Yes, hello, all of you. Can you hear my voice? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, all of you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Ganpati. Let me share my screen. Here we are in web UI. Here UI means here it is a user interface. User interface. Under this, here yesterday we discussed what all topics we have, and each topic basic introduction part we completed. What is UI and what is the use of UI, and basic introduction part of each topic we completed yesterday. Here we are in web UI. UI means user interface. When you enter any URL in the browser, whatever application you can see, that is what UI. Suppose if you enter www.google.com. So by that, you can show you here one Google home page for us. Here you can show you one search option. Here you can see one Google home page for our application. Once you click on this search option, your data will be redirected to server. Here always front end page will connect to server. Here 23rd August 2024 at 8 a.m. Yeah. Here, once you click on the search option, your data will be redirected to server. My input will go to the server. Server connected to database. This type of interactions you can observe here in every UI program. Once you click search option, my data will go to the server, server back to the database, database back to front-end page. You will get that resultant page for our application. This resultant page, whatever application you are getting here, that is the resultant page for our UI. Here, that starting page is a UI page and resultant page is also a UI page. Here, this is our server program. Server programming, here the server programmings are here, PHP, Java, .NET, Python, all comes under server programs, etc., all comes under server programs. Here, three team of developers are working here. So one is front-end developer, server-side developer, database developer. Here, three team of developers will work for one single application. In this time, we are going to learn that first topic HTML. HTML is a hypertext markup language. It's a hypertext markup language. Markup language. Here, markup means here it is a tag-based programming. Markup means here it is a tag-based programming. Tag is nothing but it's an instruction to the browser. Here, tag is nothing but it's an instruction to browser. We can give our instructions to the browser in the form of tags. Here, these tags are here. We have two types of tags. We have one is here, one is paid tag. Second one is here unpaid tag. So we have under this HTML two types of tags. We have one is paid tag, another one is here unpaid tag. Here we are learning here HTML. Under this HTML, we will learn here paid tags and unpaid tags. Basically, any HTML page, if you check it here, it will create basic skeleton of a web page. Basic skeleton of a web page, we can create it with this HTML. Here, HTML is creating basic skeleton of a web page. Here, skeleton of web page, we can create it. We can create it using HTML. Second topic of our course is CSS. Because of the CSS, we can create here CSS. Here it is cascading style sheet. This is mainly style part of the web page. Style part of web page, we can create it. We can create it using CSS. Style part of the web page, we can create it with this CSS. Here, style part here, basic style part of the web page, we can create it with the CSS. In the CSS, we will understand here how to write background colors, border, text related styles, font related styles. Here, borders, text related styles, font related styles, and alignment of web page. Alignment of web page, we can create it, etc. by CSS. Second topic of our course is CSS. Because of that, we can do that alignment. Third topic, JavaScript. Because of this JavaScript, we can add functionality. Functionality of web page, we can create it. We can create it using JavaScript. Because of this JavaScript, we can add functionality. Basic functionality of a web page, we can create it with this JavaScript. Because of this JavaScript, we can add basic functionality. Functionality here, functions. Complete functionality of a web page, we can do it with this JavaScript. Here only you will understand here. Validations, cookie creations, local storages, session storages. Here, etc. You will learn it under JavaScript. Here, JavaScript adds functionality to our application. These functionalities you will learn under JavaScript. Next, fourth topic of our course is jQuery. jQuery here, as of now, remember, it's an external library of JavaScript. JavaScript only, but it is an external library. So you can download jQuery 3.7.1.js file. Similarly, you can download jQuery cycle.js, jQuery ripple.js. Here, jQuery UI.js. Here, jQuery ripple.js, jQuery validation.js. Like this, you will find it here, so many jQuery files. Because of this jQueries, you can easily implement your validations. Here is slideshow of images, draggable, droppable effect, animation effects. These all we will learn it under jQuery. Fourth topic of our course is jQuery. Because of this, you can easily implement your code for our application. Next topic here, jQuery, Ajax. Next topic here, Ajax. Here it is a asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It is a asynchronous JavaScript and XML. It is a JavaScript and XML. It is a asynchronous process. Here, asynchronous JavaScript and XML, we call it as Ajax. Ajax is nothing but here without refreshing client page, we can get server response. Without redirection, without refreshing, if you get server response, that it is possible by Ajax. Because of this Ajax, you will get output for our application without refreshment, without redirection. Without refreshment, without redirection, if you get output for our application, that you will understand under this Ajax. Here, this Ajax call, I'll explain to you. Here, Ajax with JavaScript Ajax. Here, the same Ajax I'll explain to you with the jQuery. I'll explain in two different ways how to implement a JavaScript Ajax as well as jQuery Ajax. Two ways I'll implement it here. That Ajax call, how we can implement it with a JavaScript Ajax as well as jQuery Ajax. Next one, here, responsive design. Responsive design time, you will understand here how to develop your application for mobile phone, tablet, desktop. in all different resolution, how to show our output, that you will understand under responsive design. Under responsive design, you will understand here how to develop our application. Here, responsive application. Responsive here, how to develop our application for mobile phone, tablet, desktop. For mobile phone, tablet, desktop in all different resolution, how to show our output, that you will understand under responsive design. Next one here, that is less and SAS. Here less and SAS, just it is a superset of CSS. It's a superset of CSS. CSS only, but something extra you will learn it under CSS, that you will understand under lesson SAS. Under lesson SAS, you will understand here how to develop our application. Here, how to develop our application with a less and SAS programming. Here it is nothing but CSS only, but something extra you will learn it under CSS, that you will understand under lesson SAS. Then last topic of our course is Bootstrap. Here, because of this Bootstrap is a framework. It's a framework of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. HTML, CSS, JavaScript framework, we call it as Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a framework of HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Here, HTML, CSS, JavaScript framework, we call it as Bootstrap. Because of this Bootstrap, you will understand here how to develop our application by this Bootstrap. Here, Bootstrap is a framework. It's a ready-made framework. It's a ready-made architecture. Because of that, you can easily develop your application. You can easily execute your project with a Bootstrap. So ready-made files will be available just like jQuery only. We have totally ready-made architecture of Bootstrap. With that, you can easily develop your application with this Bootstrap. Because of this Bootstrap, we can easily develop our application, that you will understand under this Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a framework. It's a framework, it's a ready-made architecture. Because of that, you can easily develop your application. Here, up to this year, I have covered yesterday these all basic introduction parts of our each topic in our web UI. In our web UI programming, these all topics we have. Now, to write our programming, we have to use Visual Studio Code is our IDE. Every programming, Java, .NET, Python, every programming, we are using IDEs to write our programs. We are using here IDE to develop our application. These IDEs are here. Here, we are using here web UI to write our HTML programs. So first topic HTML. To write our program, we are using here IDE, that is Integrated Development Environment. One of the IDE here, VS Code. Normally, you can write your programs in Notepad. You can execute it by browser. Normally, you can write your programs in Notepad and you can execute your programs by browser. But when you are moving with IDE here, that IDE here it is Visual Studio Code is one IDE. Okay, we will use this IDE to develop our application. Here we are going to the Google, search for VS Code. Here we are going for vscode.exe file. So once you double click on it, here there is a couple of next steps. Here it will be installed in our system. So couple of next steps. After that, it will be installed in our system. So once this VS Code is installed in our system, automatically we can execute our code. Here we are using here Visual Studio Code to write our programs. Here I'm using here VS Code to write our programs. Here under this, I'm using here Visual Studio Code to write my programs. Under this, we have to double click on it and install it. See here, go to the VS Code. Here go to the VS Code, search for VS Code here. You will redirect to VS Code. Here there is a download option. See here. See, this is one VS Code setup file. This is one VS Code setup file. Once you double click on it, here there is a next steps will be there. It will be installed in your system. So after couple of next steps, I already installed Visual Studio Code. So that's why it is not allowing. Normally, we will use Visual Studio Code to install our programs. After this installation of VS Code, we will go for computer start button, search for VS Code. Here there is an option called file, open folder option will be there. See here, this is one VS Code file, open folder. Here I'm creating our own folder for our application. So I'm creating our own folder for our development, that is 8 PM folder I'm creating here. Just select that folder. Here 8 PM folder is loaded into our VS Code. See 8 PM folder, welcome message is printing here. This is one 8 PM folder. Under this, there is two options here. One is new file, another one new folder. Here I want to create new folder for separate programs here, HTML4. Under this new file here, that is first.html. First.html is our first program. Now here only you can find it here, doc type, HTML, head and body. Here this is the standard code of HTML. Suppose if I write welcome to HTML, see, welcome to HTML has to be printed in our output. Okay, so first what I'm doing, computer start button, search for VS Code. There is an option called file, open folder. Here I created our 8 PM folder. Under this, I created one subfolder, that is HTML4. Under this, I created one.html program. Under this one.html, I wrote it here, doc type, HTML, head and body. Doc type, HTML root tag, starting tag, ending tag. And here only you can find it here, head starting tag, ending tag, and body starting tag, ending tag. Okay, so like this we can write. Here doc type, HTML, head and body tag you can show for our program. Okay, so doc type, HTML, head and body is the standard code. Under this, here I'm writing here welcome message. Welcome to HTML I'm writing here. So this way, generally we will write it here, our one.html program. After writing this one.html program, we have to execute our program. To execute our program, we will go for here in VS Code, there is an option extensions. Under this, search for live server. Go to the VS Code, search for extensions, search for live server. Here only type for live server, then you can find it live server option. This is one live server. Here click on install button of live server. So by that, live server will be installed in our system. So once it is installed, then right click. Here there is an option called open with live server. Here there is an option called open with live server. So because of this, here you can run your program by live server. Because of this, you can run your program by live server. We are executing our program here. See, this way we can execute it. Here, when I run my program, see, click on install button of this. Here it will be installed in our system. So once it is installed, then go to the VS Code, go for our one.html program, then right click on it, Here there is an option called open with live server. So by that, your program will be opened in the live server like this. Your program will be opened in the live server like this. This way we can execute it. So once you click on this, open with the live server. So your program automatically opens in the live server. It will execute your program in this way. This is about the execution of the program and writing a program in VS Code. Another way of execution here, go to the documents. I created one 8pm folder. Under this, I'm going to double click on it. See here, you are able to see that execution of the code in two different ways like this. One is with a live server, one is with a normally with a browser. You can able to open your application directly by browser, or you can open your application with a live server. Both ways I can execute my program. This is with live server, this is with normal execution. Both ways we can execute our program like this. Here, this is our first program, a live server execution. This is also first program with a normal execution. Both ways we can show you that execution of the code. Here, both the ways we can execute our code, we can show you output like this. Here, I'm able to execute my program by live server and normal browser execution. Here, in both cases, advantage of live server here, whatever changes you are doing in the program, it automatically affects in the live server. See, live server is automatically affected with the dots. But see here, normal execution, I have to click refresh button. Here, if I click refresh button, then only that modification will be affected for our application. Modification of the program will be affected for our application once you click on this refresh button. This is totally about the execution of the program by live server. Here we are executing our program by live server. We can able to execute our output like this. Here I'm able to execute my program by live server. See, this is one.html. This is one more. Both ways I can execute my output like this. Okay, so now I'm going for under this HTML, what all the list of pair and unpair tags we have, I'll explain you. Up to now, is it clear? This installation procedure and execution of the code with the VS Code. Is it clear or any doubt in this?
Yes, clear.
Clear. Okay. Remaining students? Clear. Okay.
It's clear, ma'am.
Thank you. Yeah. Here, now, up to now, we discussed here how to install Visual Studio Code, how to write our first program. We discussed. Next, I'm going for how to write this list of pair and unpair tags. Here, I'm explaining completely pair and unpair tags under this HTML. Here, pair tags are here. Whenever you write the starting tag, definitely we need to close the tag. That is pair tag. Here, we are learning here pair and unpair tags under HTML. Here, we are in HTML4. HTML is a hypertext markup language. The hypertext markup language. Here, markup means here tag-based programming. Tag-based programming. Here, tag is nothing but it's an instruction to the browser. Instruction to browser. We can give our instructions to the browser in the form of tags. Here, these tags are here, two types of tags we have. Here, one is paired tag. Second one is here, unpaired tag. Here, paired tag, whenever you write the starting tag, definitely we need to close the tag. Here, unpaired tag name will write it and here itself will close it. This is unpaired tag. Here we are learning here that list of all tags all are like this. Here I'm explaining here paired tags and unpaired tags under HTML. Paired tag, whenever you write the starting tag, definitely you need to close the tag. That is paired. Here doc type HTML head and body. In that HTML tag, header tag, body tag all comes under paired tags. Okay. Here one is paired tag. That paired tag example here, body tag is a paired tag, starting tag, ending tag. HTML tag is also a paired tag. Head tag is also a paired tag. Script tag is also a paired tag. Style tag is also a paired tag. Here H1 to H6. H1 tag, H2 tag, H3 tag like that up to H6. H1 to H6 all comes under heading tags. And P tag is used to display paragraph content for us. Div tag is used to display division of the web page. Division. Complete division of the web page, we will write it by div tag. Here, table tag starting, table tag ending. Like this, we have some list of tags, all comes under pair tags. Here, like this, we have some list of tags, all comes under pair tags. Pair here, whenever you write the starting tag, definitely you need to close it, that is pair. Here, second category of tags are here, unpaired tags. Unpaired tags are here. Example for this, image. Image SRC, you can directly write name of the image. Image SRC, we can write any other location of that image. Here C drive, D drive, some other location of the image you can write. And then image SRC, we can write any URL of that image. Here URL of that image also we can write. Here image SRC we are using here for displaying images for our application. Here we are using here image SRC is used to display images for our application. We can display here image SRC. We can directly write image with the name of the image or any absolute path, my local system's path or URL. Anyway, you can write it here, that image. Images for our application, we can write it like this. Here under this image tag only, image SRC, we are writing here width of that image and then height of that image and ALT of that image we can write. Width and height, if you whatever width and height, within that width and height, you can display your image. Here within the width and height. This ALT, here what is the purpose of that image, that you can write it in this ALT. And this SRC, you can write it directly name of the image or a URL of that image or anyway you can write it. Here, next one more unpaired tag here, BR tag for break line, HR tag for horizontal line. This HR, you can write it here, width in percentage, 30%, 40%, 100%. Right. And then size here 10 pixel, 20 pixel size that BR tag for break line. Here, BR tag for break line, HR tag for horizontal line. Okay. Let me share. Here, HR tag, BR tag. And then input element. Like this, we have that list of tags. Here, like this, we can write it here, all the list of tags. We are writing here pair tags and unpaired tags under HTML. That pair here, whenever you write the starting tag, definitely we need to close the tag, that is pair tag. Here, H1 to H6 all comes under pair tags. Here, I'm writing H1 to H6. H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. Here, like this, we can are all heading tags for our application. All heading tags, this if you write lorem 10. See here, 10 words of content I can show to the user by P tag. One keyword, if you write to how many words of content you want it, that number you can write. Because of this, you can create dummy content, dummy paragraph content. You can create. Div tag, here it is div tag. Div tag. Here, like this, you can find it here, all the list of pair tags. So now check the execution. Here I'm explaining here execution of the code here. In this time, I'm here. H1 is bigger than our application. We can use it like this. Here we can display like this. This is paragraph content. We can display paragraph. Div tag is used to display division. Here next example. H3 one separation line show that is by HR. Here that same HR player, I think it will be clear now. You can write. So by this, you can see here one separation line here. See one horizontal line with a 50% screen size and width of 10 pixels. 10 pixels of thickness and 50% of my screen height. This is because of HR. Here next we can write it. Suppose if you write any content, if you want to break the content here, you can use BR tag. See here, BR tag, I can use it here. See, content is started here. Both the contents are displaying like this. This is because of BR tag. Here, BR tag. Next, after this BR tag, here I'm writing here, BR tag is here. BR tag I'm using here to display that break line. After this, I'm writing here image SRC. If I have any image here, directly I can show you image. So now let me copy one image into this. Here, let me copy one image into this. Here, Control C copy. Go to the 8 p.m. location. Paste it. See, I have one directly I can write. See, I can copy absolute path of that image and I can display. Another image SRC, I can write it here, URL. Suppose if you here, suppose if you write it here, if you search for images here, if I search for images here, see, I can use here any image. See, see here, this is one image. So I want to copy that image address. So right click. Here, this is one image address. Right click, copy image address. Because of this, here you can display images. See here. You can display images for our program. See, like this. See here, I can display 1.jpg. Second image is not displaying. Third image, that copied address, see, it is displaying that image. I'm able to display images here like this. Why is not clear? Okay. Am I clear now? Yes, please. Am I clear to you? Yes. Here, I'm able to show you 3 images here. In this, only 2 images are displaying. Normally, run your program by browser. See, open that file here. Now you can see 3 images. See here, first image, second image, third image. First image, second image, third image. 3 images it is displaying, but here it is displaying only 2 images. Why? Because this first image and the third image it is displaying. Second image is not displaying. Why? Because it's an absolute path. So what is my absolute location of that image? That we will write it here like this. But if I use this absolute path of that image, it won't display that proper output for us. Here, if I use absolute path of that image, if I use like that, I cannot display that image for our program. So we are not able to display that output for us. So when I use this type of output. Okay. So today we discussed here how to install Visual Studio Code, how to write our first program, that is paid tags and unpaid tags. Under this, I explained here how to write single image and how we can write it multiple images with a different URL address. And here, how can we display our output for our application based on based on that coding. Based on that coding part, how to display that output we understood here in this. So in the next session, I'll explain to you how to work out with a second program. How to work out with a second program, I'll explain to you in the next session. So up to now, if you have any doubt, you can ask, please. So and tomorrow class, I want to start at 8:30 p.m. Tomorrow it is a combined session. So tomorrow onwards, every day class starts at 8:30 p.m. to 9:30. 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. I'll continue everyday class. Okay. Yes. Up to now, if you have any doubts regarding subject, regarding topic, installation procedure, anywhere, if you have any doubt, you can ask, please.
No, ma'am.
No? Nothing. Any student it out. Yes. Okay. Fine. We'll meet tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. I'll continue tomorrow class at 8:30 p.m. Who are completed their registration. So for them only, I'll share my link with you. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.